Broadway, a place where dramatists, if lucky, can find the ultimate confirmation of their talent. For many of them, however, the goal is not the drama that happens on stage, but the creative one they go through before the curtain goes up. This is the story of a CUNY graduate, became a Pulitzer Prize and Tony Award winner, and his outstanding talent for creating drama without ever wanting to take part in it.
Her in Australia. She's from here, but she was there, and you know what we mean? We hired her. She came over with the boys.
I see.
Boss, if they finish, I'd like to rub him down now.
Plenty for now, Jack.
Yeah, come
All
again.
right, thanks.
Jack, one more question.
Go ahead.
Now, you're the first black man in the history of the ring to get a crack at the heavyweight title. Now, the white folks, of course, are behind the white hope. Brady's the redeemer of the race and so on, but you, Jack Jefferson, are you the black hope?
Well, I'm black and I'm hoping.
Jack. Jack, give it to him straight.
Hey, look, man, I ain't running for Congress. I ain't fighting for no race. I ain't redeeming nobody. My mama told me Mr. Lincoln done that. Ain't that why you shot him?
Yeah, well, tell us. Let's have it.
By the time James Earl Jones uttered these words on stage, Howard Sackler was already considered an accomplished writer. His play, The Great White Hope, based on a true life story of Jack Johnson, who, in 1908, became the first black heavyweight boxing champion, immediately started sparking controversy, both amongst liberals and conservatives, blacks and whites. Yet Howard, the ultimate shy guy of the Writers Guild, did his best to distance himself from political commentary. I kept to the line right through, of showing that it wasn't a case of blacks being good and whites being bad. What interested me was not the topicality, but the combination of circumstances, the destiny of a man pitted against society. It's a metaphor of struggle between man and the outside world. Unfortunately for Howard, the 1960s were not the best time to shy away. Born in New York in 1929, Howard O. Sackler had seen his share of political turmoil. By the time he joined the student body of Brooklyn College, America had already gone through the Great Depression and World War II. And although the post-war era brought a sense of unity and a promise of a better future for all, political tensions were far from over. It was in this atmosphere that young Howard developed his appreciation for historical research, but also found his lifelong passion, poetry. It was at Brooklyn College where he began honing his writing talents and developed friendships that would propel him into the world of creative writing. Jules Chemetsky, Howard's school friend, recounts, Sackler was the star of the class. He and Professor Roberts talking to each other about those arcane poets in ways the rest of us could never manage, only marvel at. Yet it was another friend who took Howard on a journey that would launch his career in screenwriting. Tired of taking evening classes at City College and earning his money in commercial enterprises, Howard's high school friend and neighbor from Greenwich Village, Stanley Kubrick, was looking for a writer who would help him jumpstart his career as a film director. The two friends went on to collaborate on a number of projects, including Kubrick's first two feature films, Fear and Desire and Killer's Kiss. Shot in 1955, Killer's Kiss featured many iconic locations, such as Times Square and the old Penn Station. The one thing conspicuously missing on the screen, however, was a co-writing credit for Howard Sackler. There are many theories why Howard remained uncredited for his work on Killer's Kiss. One being that, as a more scholarly writer, he didn't want to be associated with low-budget crime dramas. The fact remains that in his future screenwriting career, his name often stayed hidden from public view, like in the case of the blockbuster Jaws and the famous USS Indianapolis speech.
You were on the Indianapolis?
What happened? Japanese submarine slammed 2 torpedoes into our side, Chief.
Traditionally credited to Peter Benchley and Carl Gottlieb, this horrifying story was originally penned by Sackler. The speech was conceived by Howard Sackler, who was an uncredited writer, didn't want a credit, and didn't arbitrate for one. But he's the guy that broke the back off the script before we ever got to Martha's Vineyard to shoot the movie. And although Howard did go on to write the script for Jaws 2 and was appropriately credited for it, it is possible that his passion lied elsewhere, in the field of poetry and playwriting, where he made some of his biggest contributions. In the early 1950s, Howard joined Cadman Audio. Founded in 1952 by two Hunter College graduates, Barbara Holdridge and Marianne Mantell, Cadman was the first company to sell spoken word recordings to the public. Widely considered the pioneer of the audiobook industry, the company went on to record many notable writers reading their own works, including Ernest Hemingway, Tolkien, and many more. Serving as Cadman's dramatic director for more than 2 decades, Howard led the charge of creating many of these recordings, but also directed dozens of classic audio dramas featuring actors such as Richard Burton, Vincent Price, and Dame Maggie Smith. These experiences made Howard a known name in the world of theater, and soon he developed an interest in creating original works of his own. One can't learn about plays by reading them nearly as well as one can by getting inside them, conducting them, directing them, he later said. Between 1954 and 1966, he wrote 6 short plays and, with a couple of financial grants, started investing in his passion project, a long-form historical play about the first black heavyweight champion, Jack Johnson, and his romantic relationship with a white woman.
It gets awful, doesn't it?
I don't know about that. Seems to me it gets worse and better both at once.
Is there anything I can do?
Yeah. You stick around and don't ever call me daddy.
The rest, of course, is history. Arriving at the tail end of the civil rights movement, the 1967 production of The Great White Hope spoke the language of the times. The play stirred the imagination of audiences and reopened some freshly inflicted wounds. In 1968, the play moved to Broadway, and in 1969 won a Tony Award, a New York Drama Critics Circle Award, and a Pulitzer Prize for Drama. It propelled the careers of James Earl Jones and Jane Alexander, who won Tony Awards for their performances, and in 1970, after the release of the film adaptation, were both nominated for Academy Awards. Yet even after such a major accomplishment, Howard remained careful not to draw too much attention. His major contributions to the screenplays for Steven Spielberg's Jaws and Peter Bogdanovich's Saint Jack stayed curiously obscured, and his later plays, Semmelweis and Goodbye Fidel, were largely unknown. The New Yorker's review of Goodbye Fidel stated, "So many roles and settings give the play a welcomely old-fashioned air of amplitude, even of extravagance. We sense that the playwright has shared the novelist's luxurious privilege of inventing an abundance of characters and then letting them wander wherever they will." In 1982, Howard died of a pulmonary thrombosis while working on another major historical play about the Alaskan gold rush. And although he departed this world quietly and without much drama, Howard created stories and characters that resonate through time, reminding us that history itself is nothing else but a long-form drama, the kind of which, whether we like it or not, we all must participate in.